Hey everyone, Will here. Haven't done a what sold video in quite a while, but had some really good sales, and thought I'd go over few of the interesting stuff. To me, the interesting stuff is the expensive stuff, but let's go over. I'll give you an update on some stuff. This piece right here, Shriner New York brooch. I bought this back in September. You can see it in one of my flea market videos around the middle of the month. I bought 4 pieces, and I paid $350 for the 4 pieces. This was one of them. So a lady contacted me, and she offered me $1,500 for it. I had just marked it down from $2,100. She offered me $1,500, and I told her the best I could do was $1,700. She came back and said she could meet me in the middle bit. She came up to $16. I told her no. I said $17 is the best I can do. I said it's a great piece. It's a one of a kind. And I said I just marked it down from $2,100. And I just told her you'll never see another one. And she ended up buying it for $1,700. And very happy with it. Love the piece. Love it. It's just glass. It's just costume, but the piece in the center here, I called it a UFO center rhinestone, and to me that's what it looks like, a UFO. But very cool. One of my favorite pieces of the year. This I actually bought for myself like 25 years ago. Baltimore Memorial Stadium, my dad and I used to go to the games back in the late 70s, 80s. And this was a unique seat. It's a low reserve seat. All the low reserve seats, they're all hooked together, except for 2 in the entire stadium. This was one of them. It was a standalone seat. And I actually remember walking through the stadium when I was a kid, and I would see these couple individual seats. I guess just because of the layout, they couldn't fit like a whole bunch of seats in there, but they had room just to put one in there. And that was one of the 2 individual seats in all Memorial Stadium. It's pretty cool because years later I would actually own one of those seats that I walked by as a kid. I bought it from a contractor who was he was tasked with removing all the seats from the stadium when they were demolishing it. And when he walked through, he's like, he took both the single seats because they were so different from the others, and he ended up selling one of them. And I forget what I paid for it. It wasn't too bad. It was like $150, $200, something like that. That was 25 years ago, so. But it just came time to let it go. So I put it on. It was on for years, but it did end up selling. And I had a guy who's putting a baseball museum together, and he contacted me, and he first offered me $700 for it, and I came back and said my absolute best would be $850, and he tried to get it for $8, and I said no. And I told him the story about how I was a kid and I saw the seat, and how I ended up acquiring it, and he ended up going to $850. We used U-Ship to ship it down to him. I think he's in Tennessee or Kentucky. I forget exactly. But another very cool piece. And right below it is this clock, the Jaeger Le Couture 8-day baguette clock, blue lapis skeleton desk clock. This I bought at the same time as this. Talk about some great stuff. Nice old clock from like 1970, I believe. I started out high, lowered the price a little bit, and a person just paid full price. Sold it for $600. Just shipped it out yesterday, and boy, did I pack that thing. It's going to China. So I've actually not had any problem shipping to China. You would think it would be, but so far so good. But I packed it like crazy. I mean, I wrapped it in bubble wrap and put it in a box and put styrofoam around that and put it in another box. So I packed it the best I could. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay. This was really weird. This is a toilet out of the house I grew up in. That's currently an Airbnb. When we were going through and updating everything in the house to turn it into an Airbnb, we came to the toilet, and I thought, you know what? They don't make toilets like this anymore. I mean, look at that nice blue turquoise color. It's a shame we busted up. It had a sink and tub to match that. And we got rid of those. I really regret doing that, although that tub was super heavy. But saved the toilet, and so a person bought it, paid the full $600, sold it October 17th of this year, and I never heard from them. And I sent them message after message after message. I sent them like 5 messages through eBay. They never replied. So last week, I didn't know what to make of it. So last week comes around, and eBay contacts me that there's a payment dispute from the person that bought the toilet, and that they opened a dispute up. And of course, I have they decided it in their favor because I'd never heard from them. They never picked it up. I still have the toilet. But if it was a scam, why did they wait 2 months before they dispute the charge? And why didn't they answer their emails? Why didn't they answer the messages? It was their first purchase on eBay, so are they trying to launder money? If they were doing that, why would they wait 2 months? I really, it's something I'll probably never know. But I gotta get that back on, because these toilets actually do go for that kind of money. Because, like I said, they don't make them that color anymore. This was pretty cool. Got these cast iron gate finials. Got them at an estate sale years ago, and had a little note inside. It was just the finials, and inside the box, down at the bottom, was this little scrap of paper, old, and you can barely read on it. It says, "Finials from from fence at White House." So that's all I had to go on. So the guy sent me an offer of $400, and I took it. You send them off to him. Next thing I know, he's sending them back to me. He says, you know, it's just not enough provenance for these to call these White House gate toppers. So that's fine. I mean, I've never taken the time to go through and see. There's got to be some old photos of the White House, and so we can compare the finial toppers. But I guess even if they match, you're just taking the word of a piece of paper that was found in the bottom of a box. So I guess that isn't enough to convince a lot of people. It's not cast iron proof. You know, maybe if they were signed by Teddy Roosevelt and said, I took these off the gate back in the early 1900s. But returns happen. This was good. If you remember, I did a video on cleaning a bunch of these shades and lamps. The first set of these sold $350. I paid less than $100 for the entire lot of them, so I'm definitely in the green on those. The person that bought them's restoring a house out in San Francisco, so they wanted to do all vintage fixtures. So where better to find vintage fixtures than eBay? Italian wall lamps sold for $250. They're very cool. Got a very unique look to them. The person left me great feedback for them. Loved them. The chair, already did a video on the chair a while ago. Bought it for $10 and sold it for $2.25. It is a cool piece, and the person left great feedback for me on that. The glass fishing buoy sold for $2.25. Very happy. The person's happy with that. Took a while to sell that. It wasn't cheap. I think I paid like $70 or $80 for it, but unusual size. The tomahawk, I love the tomahawk. I was tempted to keep this for myself, but I like a lot of stuff. I can't keep it all. But I was able to decipher it. Well, it was Mark Darnell, and I was able to track it down to this guy, Joe Darnell. He owned a forge, apparently called Tar Heel Forge. Made some beautiful stuff. Apparently is not in business anymore, but extremely well done tomahawk. Just well done overall. $200 was probably cheap for that. I ended up getting 2 tomahawks. It was like $30 or $35 for the pair of them. So this was one of them that sold for $200. You'll be seeing the other one come up here. This was a large mule deer rack I picked up at the flea market for $50. Sold it for $145. This was a Glen L. Martin B-29 bomber fob. Really identification tag. I think I paid, I can't remember exactly what I paid for that. It was less than $50. Sold for $175. Here's the other tomahawk. It sold for $170. 2 Hawks Polaris tomahawk. Department of Defense badge for $160. This I bought 8 of these, and I paid $80 for the lot of them. I sold a couple, then eBay went through and said, no, can't sell these. They're not obsolete. So the only one they let me keep up was the badge that was made for the year 2000 millennium. But really nice looking Department of Defense badge. So I've sold 2 or 3 of them so far. Not too bad. The Thumbelina doll, new in the wrap with the original box, paid $10 for that at a yard sale. Sold it for $140. The side plate, really shouldn't be, really not allowed to sell these on eBay because it's body armor, but paid $5 for that and sold it for $145. 1936 Musette bag, paid like $10 for, got $145. This is a lacrosse stick, paid $15 for that with the case, and that sold for $125. It's actually going to be a Christmas gift, so that went out just sold on the 12th. Fiesta orange electric coffee maker set went for $120. Can't remember off the top of my head what that sold for. 8-pound anvil, paid like $20 for that, sold it for $100. The Sunbox, paid $15 for that. That was a pain to pack, but got it for $100. Piece of Blinko glass, very collectible, sold a picture there for $70. That was part of a large lot that I bought probably a couple years ago now. Atlas for $75. Here's Baltimore City Fire Department badge, sold for $80. This was a good one. The Wizard of Oz cups, still with the label, which really made them. I paid $5 a piece for those, and sold them for $75. Could have probably actually got more. Gas mask bag for $75. Forget off the top of my head what I sold those for. Cirque du Soleil watch for $75. Paid like $20 for that. Always put a new battery in any watches that I sell. It's always a good selling point where you can say it's got a fresh battery in there. Love anything gun related, firearm related. This was a nice quality holster. Picked that up for like $5 or $10. I don't know. Sold it for $75. Skateboard, bought it for $10, sold it for $65. Here's another one of those Department of Defense badges. That sold for $65. Then after that, I started pricing them at $160. And then there's a Trump game, sold for $50. Probably get more than that for it now. Still sealed. Just some oddball stuff. It's starting to get uninteresting now. Here's a yacht club flag, Otter Point Yacht Club flag. Bought a bunch of those, paid around $5 a piece, listed them for $50 a piece. That's one of them that sold. The Tomahawk, paid like $5 for that. Sold for $45. Holy water container sold for $45. That was like a $10 purchase. The hat was pretty neat. A woven hat. If you see, it's bent up on the side here. I actually wet it down, straightened it out, and never updated I was getting ready to update the pictures, and somebody bought it, and it's going to it's going to Branson, Missouri. to a guy that performs in a barbershop quartet. So that was really cool. You know, I love it when the buyers let me know what they plan on doing with the item they get. You know, it's like, you know, this was in somebody's attic for years. You know, had one foot in the grave, and then I find it, list it, and then it gets a whole new life. It's one of the things I enjoy about doing this. Wizard of Oz book had just sold today, $35. Patch, nice big patch for $40. This was part of a huge lot of patches I bought for $10. Done really well with them. Just really cool. Radiator emblem for $40. Bought a bunch of those. Some toys, did them in a big lot, sold them for $32. They just sold yesterday. Put them in the mail. Guy said he wants them for his son for Christmas. The shoes, Ralph Lauren's, size 16D, pretty big. $30. Really, I just don't like selling clothing that much. Miss some military stuff, but I will end it right here. Oh, this is pretty. Bought a M1 carbine bayonet with a broken handle. Paid like $5 for that. Sold it for $27. Got a trumpet. Bought that for $5 just for parts. Sold that for $20. Yeah, we'll end it there.